What up, what up? Happy holidays.
Bobby, Mike Tomlin said he grows old gracefully, eyes always in the right place, just about how you play and your consistency. Is that film study experience? Where have you been able to do that with the consistency that you've done this year?
Yeah, it's definitely film study. It's definitely just trying to be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing is just trying to be consistent, trying to do, always constantly find ways to be better. There's still things I can work on, and there's still things that I can get better. And I think having that mindset puts you in a position of constantly trying to grow or elevate your game. But to have somebody like that, have that respect for your game, it's definitely great. Because I've watched him for a long time. I admired how he coaches, admired how he, the messages and how he cares about his guys, and so it's mutual respect for sure.
But how important is the way you guys have cleaned up the explosives these past 2 weeks? How important has that been to your defense?
I think it's been big because it's taken points off the board. It's allowed us to get off the field in some cases, but taking away those explosive and key moments has definitely allowed us to activate the pass rush a little bit and get after the offense in different ways.
Did the way that 49ers game went kind of just lay it out bare in that regard? Like, these 10 plays killed us, like, to kind of bring you guys back to making sure you clean that area up?
Yeah, it was not just that game. It was, there's a couple games that you can pinpoint and look at that. Like, if you take a couple of these explosive plays away, it changes the whole trajectory of how the game goes. And so, I don't know the statistics on it, but, when a team gives up an explosive, it doesn't really sway in your favor. So I think it's just being mindful of it, whether it's in the run game or the pass game, trying to eliminate those and not let them happen.
What's your thought about, about Devin Bush, the opportunity that he's getting at this point in the year and going up against his old team? What do you think his mindset is like right now?
I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, when you play your own team, you definitely want to play well, but then you also don't want to let it overshadow the preparation, make you lose focus on the little things. So it's a balance. You got to balance the emotions of playing your former team, but also locking in and knowing what you have to do and what you have to get done. And I feel like he'll be good.
Last week, the Steelers did score on a couple of huge explosive plays, but you've got Najee Harris that's in there. So how do you allocate enough resources to stop both those explosives and the run?
I think on some of those plays, he just got behind the corner or things like that. So I think that's the first thing is not letting the guy get behind you. But I think, two, just understanding like they have a good run game. They're going to mix it up really well and, kind of doing your job. Every player has a job to do, and I think it's just really that simple. I don't think we have to load the box or do anything different. It's just more so making sure you execute your assignment in that moment.
Following up on mine too, with Devin Bush, he hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time yet this year, but what do you think what have you noticed about the skills he brings and kind of the role that he has on his team?
Yeah, he hasn't really got a lot of opportunities, but, you saw what he can do both on defense and special teams in the preseason. Obviously, you see that practice, and his ability to kind of be able to fill in, when Jordan went out, shows you the preparation that he does, regardless of whether or not he's getting an opportunity or not. And so I think that's always the biggest thing. But, he's going to hit, he's going to come downhill, make plays, and he moves really well in the passing game. So I think that's what we expect to have from him.
Pete described the run defense lately as kind of rope-a-dope.
Rope-a-dope?
I guess, would you agree with that? And why do you feel like the numbers have been what they were with teams being able to average 5 yards a carry and over 100 yards a game lately?
I guess I would have to ask Pete what his definition of rope-a-dope means. Like, what would you take that as?
Like Muhammad Ali and the Ramon Jumble, the George Foreman kind of thing.
On the ropes, about to get knocked out,
Yeah.
but not quite knocked out.
So everybody just throws out Muhammad Ali quotes, huh? That's what we're doing. I think it's just it's an area that obviously we start off well, then haven't been as clean. I think it's kind of the same thing with the explosive plays. It's either one or two guys or it's just one thing. I think all we got to do is just do your job. And sometimes it's maybe us trying too hard to try to make a play or anything like that. So if we just kind of go back to the basics, I think it'll go back to how it was. I don't think it's anything crazy that they're doing or crazy that teams are doing. I think a lot of the things that are happening against us is us causing those things. And so I think if we just take that out of the game, I feel like it'll be fixed.
Is anything that you're doing differently schematically to try to stop the explosive plays in the passing game, is that maybe negatively impacting the run defense? Like you're committing more resources to one and it's hurting the other?
I don't think so, per se, because I think regardless of the situation, I think you should be able to stop the run. I think it's not like we're removing people or, like you said, like taking resources away. I think it's just little things that we need to clean up, whether it's fits, whether it's playing off one another, that I feel is all in our control. It's not really something that they're doing schematically or something that we've changed. It's just we need to be more disciplined and, executing when the runs happen.
How impressive is what Julian Love was able to do last week, being away all week, then flying out there and playing the whole game?
Man, extremely impressive because it's not just missing practice and trying to learn the defense and learn it. It's dealing with real life situation and then not being able to travel with the team. And then I'm pretty sure he wasn't getting that much sleep. So there's a lot of elements, but he's a true professional, and I think he's a person that would be able to do something like that because of how he prepares. So, are you surprised when it happens? You're not, but it still doesn't take away from how impressive it was for him to balance what was going on in real life and then come back and still have impact plays in a game in which he didn't practice all week. So, definitely was impressive.
As someone who plays every snap, every game, do you have maybe appreciation or just like how guys like Mike Jack or like Julian Love have handled being a starter, in and out, rotating in this package and that package? You know what I mean?
For sure, because it's tough. I mean, obviously, I think anybody wants to play every snap, and when you're coming in and coming out, it's very hard for you to get into a rhythm, and so it takes a little bit more energy mentally to make sure you're locked in and study and not knowing when your number is going to get called. So, you have an appreciation for those guys that, because again, like they could handle it a different way. They can be upset. They can be not focused. They can be, take it the wrong way. But those guys been true professionals, and whenever they get their opportunity, there's no fall off. There's just the same level of communication, the same level of execution and playmaking. So definitely from our end, we appreciate it.
Specifically with Julian, what have you thought of the way he's handled that this year, the in and out when Jamal's hurt, or big nickel packages, big safety packages, or whatever?
Like I said, he's been a true professional. Like I think if you watch the way he prepared last week, it shows his ability to lock in and not let the circumstances around him or the things that he's facing change the way that he prepares and how he plays. And so when he's out there, he has a standard, and he upholds that standard.
What did Geno kind of show everybody, I guess, the last couple of weeks with how he handled being hurt and then, kind of, I guess, the way he supported Drew through all that and then coming back last week and that drive at the end?
Just how great of a teammate he is. I think that's the biggest thing. Two, it's hard. When you want to go out there and you want to perform, but you can't physically. A lot of guys might go and be alone or be to themselves, but he wanted to still be a part and still help and still communicate with Drew, and I think that just speaks volumes of what type of leader he is and what he means to our team. And then when he is healthy enough to get back out there, he goes back out there and leads us to another win. So we have so much respect and so much love for the way he handled the last few weeks, because we know it's hard. Any player, when you get hurt, nobody likes to be hurt. So it's a lot of respect for him.
When you were doing stuff away from the field this year, or the shopping spree, the stuff at kids' schools and everything, did you feel like you were missed? Like, did you feel like the people had an appreciation for you that if you came back, handled on for you?
That's a good question. I would have to say yes, because everywhere I went, I got the "I'm so glad you're back" type of comment multiple times wherever we went. So, I always felt like I had a really deep connection to the city. Obviously, I grew up, in my opinion, I matured out here because, all my 20s, I feel like I did a lot of growing and a lot of growing as a man out here. And the city embraced me in a way that, I couldn't have anticipated when, I came here at 21 or 22. So definitely felt the energy. Even when I came back and I hadn't even been out in the city, I definitely felt the energy from them.
Is any of those events or things that you did this year, any one of them stand out, or any interaction with any fans or kids or anything?
I think anytime I go to the schools to talk about the comic book, I think that's always dope. But I think the last thing when we went to Target and took the kids shopping, just the little interactions of just, you kind of realize like their world is so different than your world. There's no care. There's just want to have fun and be free. So it kind of reminds you of what kind of the meaning of life is, because sometimes we get caught up in stressing and all about stuff that, at the end of the day doesn't necessarily matter.
Anything else?
Cool. Appreciate it.